Okay, good morning. Welcome back. So it's early March now, and as you can probably see, it's a lovely day. It's a bit fresh and cold, but yeah, not much wind, and it's been pretty calm the last few days. So we're hoping to get out on the open coast, and yeah, depending on the conditions, we're going to try and travel out to a mark which is about 12-13 miles off. So some of you are probably thinking that's quite a long way to go in a small boat like this. And yeah, you are right. You've got to be prepared, and there's certain things you've got to take into account. But when you've got measures in place and when you've got a bit of understanding of it, then it's perfectly safe, and it's actually really enjoyable, especially on a flat, calm day like it's hopefully going to be today. So yeah, this is what we're going to be going out on. Hopefully, do a bit of lure fishing. This time of year, March, it's a tricky month, really, tricky month. Hopefully, being in a bit deeper water, we might find a few more fish than if we were to fish inshore. But you just never know. Hopefully, we can get on some pollock. That's what I'm sort of banking on. A bit early for a bass, really, but you just don't know. Hopefully, there might be a few out there. So yeah, this is what we're going to be going out on. Let's just go through it quickly. The actual sieve itself, this is a 3.7 metre IBF Hydrus. Used it for just under a year now. I've been using this, and I've got a lot of confidence in it. As with most sieves, they're very, very stable vessels for their size. I've never been able to flip it. You can lean on the tubes, you can't flip them. If you lose, if you get a serious puncture in one tube, and even if you do lose all the air, you're still going to get back. I mean, this has got 3 separate air tubes and an air deck, so it's quite a lot of air, and creates a hell of a lot of buoyancy. So yeah, nice and stable. There's 2 of us fishing, and as you can see, there's quite a lot of kit there. Probably the equivalent of 3 people. So yeah, actually perfectly stable. Engine that's powering us along. That there is a 20 horsepower Tohatsu 4-stroke FE. Been using that now for, well, again, just under a year, and been a great engine. Very fuel efficient. The main tank is 12 litres, but we're also carrying a 5 litre spare. I know we won't use 12 litres, we probably won't even use 10 getting there and back, but yeah, it's always good to have a bit of spare fuel, especially when you're going out that extra distance. You always want about a third of a tank spare, just in case, you never know. Yeah, got a variety of rods. We'll go through the rod setups later. Fish finder setup, dry bags with all the kit in. Really important on a day like today when you're going out a bit extra distance. You should have it whenever you're on the water, is a VHF radio. So yeah, VHF radio, essential. Life jackets, proper life jackets. We're not using PFDs today, just because, yeah, 13 miles out is a long way to swim. And you want to make sure that you're floating to be picked up if you do go in the water. Obviously avoid that at every cost. But yeah, proper life jackets and some nice warm layers. Yeah, that's the setup. Tide's on the way in now. We'll see what it's like when we get out there. Hopefully we'll get out to the intended mark. But yeah, let's go do some fishing. So we've come out now, and believe it or not, we're 13 miles out. And as you can probably see from behind me, there's a bit of swell. But the important detail here is the wind is dropping off throughout the day. So there was a little bit yesterday, a little bit overnight, but it's dropping right off. So I'm hopeful that this will drop right off come sort of midday. It's a little bit bumpy coming out here, but these sieves, they can handle a lot. And when you've got 2 people, you distribute the weight right out at the front, and it keeps the power right down, and you can punch through some pretty swell. This is just a bit of surface chop today. It's not really a big swell. But yeah, this is our backdrop today. The little Eddystone lighthouse. If you're not familiar with it, 13 miles off the coast. We launched from Looe this morning. Renowned for its bass fishing here. With it being March, I'm not expecting there to be many of them about really. So I think we'll try and target the pollock, but yeah, we'll be using lures. So I'll just show you quickly how we're fishing these lures today. I don't know if you can see on the sounder there, but we're in about 25 metres of water with a reefy bottom, and all I'm doing is letting the lure drop. It can be quite hard to feel when it hits the bottom when you're just relining a lure like this, and there's a bit of a fast drift. But I use coloured braid on my reels, which I find really helps. Once I've got a reference to where the bottom is, or you know, on 25 metres, reference to where that is on the braid, then I can let all that line out that I need. I'm just letting that line out, so when I think it's the bottom, giving it a few reels up, just to lift it away from any snags, and then just letting the drift pull that lure along. Maybe give it a little wind every now and then. Nice slow wind though. You don't want to be you know, reeling it up too quickly, because it just looks unnatural and the fish just won't chase it. It's always worth varying the speed of that retrieve. Slow it right down if you have to. You know, if they're not hitting it hard, and just make sure, yeah, you want to be fishing, you know, fishing the features, fishing the bottom, and you know, trying to find where they are, if they're mid water or hard on the bottom. Varying your technique will undoubtedly help you catch. Here's an interesting scenario. Morgan's caught a fish on his rod, but his rod is broken in half because, like a noob, he was high sticking it. Now, high sticking is when you lift the rod up high like that, and there's a lot of pressure bending down on it, and yeah, it snapped, no surprise. The Morgan thinks it's a decent fish. You can't tell, obviously, because the rod is it's only bent on the half section. I'm going to get the net ready, so hopefully Morgan will learn from his mistake there. But let's see what that is, because it's really interesting how we thought it was a snag at first, and that's what snapped it. But be very careful with that drag, Morgan. Don't forget to let some out. Let it take line. Let it take line. That's a good fish. That is. That is a good fish. It's been very quiet up till now. We've had a few small ones, but wow, that's a good fish, mate. That is a good fish. You've got to be very careful with it. God, you think there's a submarine on that?
Like more pressure.
Be very careful, because obviously there's sharp edges on that guide there. Look, he's got one of his guides in the... What a mess. If you land this, it's a miracle. I'm really curious to know what it is, actually. Really curious. This is a very good reason why you should never high stick your rod, because that's what you end up with. Poor graphite leader rod.
Probably worth just hand lining, you know.
Well, it's up to you. Obviously, you want to keep that pressure on. What does it feel like, do you know?
It's heavy.
Heavy.
I feel like fighting. Oh, bloody hell. I think it might be a bass, you know.
Yeah, just let it pull line if it needs to, and it will tire out eventually. It will tire out and it will come up in the water. At the moment, it's taking runs. Tell you what, mate, whatever that is, that's a bloody good fish to be pulling that sort of line.
I'm trying to stop it from going anywhere deep, because I would not be able to pull out a snag with this rod.
Yeah, you just want to make sure that line doesn't part. You are on... We're only on sort of £30 braid there. In fact, it's a good job we put that heavier braid on that reel. Oh wow, wow, that's a lovely fish, man. That's a lovely fish. I'm very interested to know what it is.
If I get any kind of distance back.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, we thought it was a snag at first.
Oh, I don't want to do it down into any snags.
Yeah, we thought it was a snag because Morgan put pressure on it, and it was pulling the boat, and then he put his rod up. That's why it snapped. But well, that's definitely not a snag. A snag doesn't do that. You're doing the right thing, mate. You're making the best out of a bad situation.
I mean, if it's a nice fish, I'll allow it like this. Snap the rod, mate.
Yeah. Oh, that is a tremendous fish. I tell you what, I really am interested to see what that is. We're in 40 metres of water. I just don't know. I don't know. I think you should treat yourself to a new rod out of this moment. Just seeing that rod bent, probably snap again. There's the other half in the water. Do you know what you're on your braid there?
5 pounds.
Get the net ready. Oh! It's alright. You gone?
Yeah.
Oh. You're lucky, mate.
A good try.
It was a good try. It was a very good attempt. Well, what could that have been? It's always gutting losing a big fish. I think if you had kept your rod in one piece, you probably had a better chance of catching it, but not a lot that can be done. Exciting. It's a shame we didn't see it. A lot stacked up against us there. Oh well. Let's try for some more. Let's try for some more. Could be a wrasse. Doesn't feel massive. Oh. It's pulling a bit, but it's not going crazy. Putting money on a wrasse. Oh no! So that there is actually a little pond. There we go. So, not particularly big, but yeah, nice to catch. Nonetheless, breaks up the quiet moments. Definitely not eating size, that one. So yeah, put him back. Hopefully get his much bigger brother. Lovely. Well, I'm into another fish now. Coming right in close to the lighthouse, just to fish the structure. And I'm on to something. It could be a wrasse, I think. Oh, yep, little wrasse tangled up in your gear. Well, there we go. That's another species, Ballon wrasse. They're just easy on those fish minnows. They absolutely love them. It's getting late now, and the fishing has been really quite slow today. We've had a mixed bag. We've had a few species, but everything has been small apart from that mystery fish that got away. And I was speaking to Morgan earlier about it. So I didn't know at the time was that actually his lure. So we were in about 40 metres of water, and he told me that he was fishing his lure about halfway up, so 20 metres up. So whatever that fish was, it took it mid-water. Now in my mind that narrows it down to a few species. Pollock, bass, I don't know. It'd be interesting to know what your thoughts are on what that might have been. You know, a fish that has taken a fish black minnow mid-water and just, well, absolutely smoked us. You know, it snapped the rod, partly because Morgan was high-sticking it, and then it went on to snap the 25-pound fluorocarbon leader. So whatever it was a large fish. Yeah, that's gonna stay in our nightmares for a while. We're gonna wake up with cold sweats in the night thinking, what's that? But yeah, you know, it's just catching fish like that. It drives you, doesn't it? It makes you want to go out and catch them again and catch more fish. It's all part of the fun. It's been a lovely trip. As you can see now, it's pretty much glassy. You wouldn't think we're on the same day as what it was when we came out, as it was. Yeah, it was a bit fresh. So yeah, we're heading now, and yeah, look forward to the next session. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, then please leave a like and subscribe. It does mean a lot to me. And if you want to see what I get up to on a regular basis, then you can follow my Instagram, which is Fishing with Open. Yeah, thanks very much.